Today I'm going to hear a few things that will surprise you. Don't worry, don't worry. No, really. But it's being recorded.
Two things, you know. I came for two
Ayat.
things. One is namaz and one to meet you.
Marhaba, marhaba.
Yeah?
But you will see it on video, yeah?
Inshallah.
Thank you. Hiya. Yeah? To both of us.
Online we're live, yeah? So whenever you're ready.
Yeah. We ready? Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Bayo, one more time. Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat. Allahumma salli ala. Yeah. Okay, now we settle down, Abbas Ismail. Settle down now, yeah? We are starting. We've talked enough. You know, the whole world to talk. Can I request, yes, thank you, Ghulam, that you've turned your chairs this way. Please, Muhammad Hussain Jagani, if you could turn your chairs towards us, facing us. You know, please, Mohammed Bandali. Asante, thank you, Bana. Face the stage because... Yeah. Thank you. I mean, you can dispose of, can you only help them dispose of the cups and all that? Son, thank you. In the name of the Almighty, the most gracious and the most merciful. I mean, this is it. This is what Namaz-e-Ayat brings us. You know, a program being made, bearing in mind that us as the seniors will be here, and lo and behold, so many others join, alhamdulillah. And many of these newcomers are seated with us over here. I can see they've joined us. They helped themselves to a cup of tea, scones, everything kaput, which is fantastic. Baraka, you are welcome. And I hope, Muhammad Raza, at the end of the day, that you will have the gesture of say, can I donate something? Yeah, ek chai nu cup leso, ek khani packet le leso ame, inshallah. Right. This is the important day today because we have, besides the activities that you see which are going to hold, but this is important. Today we are holding an interview. In our practice with involvement from the members, interaction, that's what we have introduced. Some, I think, I can't remember the date exactly, 4th, it was 29th of September, that we interviewed Bashir Bhai Tajani over here. And we are carrying on now, because these are the sports personalities of our community from the times of East Africa. So when we get an opportunity, we interview them. So, Bayo, today, without much ado, we are going to interview Mullah Mohammed Kasmali. He is driven all the way from Peterborough with two of his colleagues to give an interview, an interesting one. We worked very hard to prepare this interview. So please, shall we welcome Mullah Mohammed Kasmali with a Nare Salawat. Jazakallah. Thanks. Right, a very warm welcome. Must say something about Mullah Mohammed here. Born 12th of December, that's when Kenya became independent, 1956. Happily married with two children, a boy and a girl. And from these two, a very, very proud grandfather of three. Yeah, 3 grandchildren. Now, before I proceed further, let's make it a humorous thing. I'll talk something about myself. You know, I come from Mombasa. My teenage days, friends galore, about 7, 8, 9 friends. And we are going fine, you know. Out of these 9, 2 were married. and 7 were Wandas, and I was one of them. One fine day, I get engaged, yeah? And I get engaged to a girl from Tanga. So when my colleagues, those 7, they heard about this, and this is what I wanted to pay you attention here. They said, Ani sagai thai, Tanga. Tanga ma kon chokri che, jungle che tia, jungle. You know? And I kept quiet, respectfully. Again we met up, and this is what they interacted. Ani sagai bana, koi jungle ma thai che, Tanga ma, koi gam che, it is a forest, jungle. And I said, this is the time for me to reply. And I said, by the way, તમને ખબર છે પડી ફેરીઝ જંગલમાં જ ઉતરે છે ઓછો ગામમાં ઉતરે. That kept them quiet. And they were the first ones to attend my wedding because those Wandas were there to look for their padis. You see? Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat. Wow. Tanga. And this is where, Muhammad Bhai, you were born. Yeah? So, first of all, Sante Sana for making all the efforts, all the way from Peterborough, with your 2 colleagues over here. They are so ever welcome. Feel at home. Right. Let's get started. Let's talk about your early days in Tanga. We got to know something about yourself. So can you tell us about your early days in your own few words, your early days in Tanga, your schooling days, something about cricket, and also tell us something memorable about a visiting team, any visiting team, and what memories do you have for that? Bismillah.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Mumtaz Bhai, I will first take the opportunity to thank you for giving me this honor and pleasure to be together with Mu'minin brothers this morning. Your question regarding my early days in Tanga, the place where I was born, at that time, the Jama'at was a sizable Jama'at at that time. And my schooling was in a primary school in Karimji Primary School, and secondary I did up to Form 2 or Form 3 in Popatlal Secondary School. Cricket, as hopefully later on I will tell you, was in our blood because our father was playing cricket. But cricket was a game that was being played in Tanga, and we used to go and play with our Mu'min brothers, young children there, at Serani Park. And then later on, we got the opportunity to participate in the clubs, very young at that time, but we were being encouraged to play cricket. So from very early age, that cricket was there. I clearly and distinctly remember the visiting team from Mombasa, Jaffrey, coming to play against Ishnashri Sports Club in Tanga. And in that visit, our guests at our home were Marhum Onali Bhai Kanji and Mahmud Bhai Hasnali Kaki. They were our guests at that time. And later on, these 2 gentlemen were my colleagues in different teams playing cricket in Mombasa. So this something short brief about Mombasa. I'm sorry, Tanga.
Mashallah. Thank you, Muhammad Bhai. Thank you. There must be lots of memories about Tanga, but this one stands out because you were so young. Now, if I were to take the name, Mohammed Kasmali, it won't hit home with many people, if I were to take name of, okay, your brother Murtaza Kasmali, it won't hit home. But what stands out in your family, that your family is known by the nickname of Tamu. Tamu, sweet. I don't know how this name came about. If I were to say Muhammad Kasmali, nobody in Canada or America will recognize it. But if I were to say Muhammad Tamu, everybody will raise their hand up. Your nickname of the Tamu family, the nickname that you've got, sir, amazing. I mean, did you eat sweet mangoes? Was it in Dimu Tamu or something like that? Were lots of sweet children at home or something like that? If it is possible, can you explain how, in few words, how did this name come about?
Let me start on a lighter note to say that Tamu came because we are very sweet. And we pass sweetness to everyone. However, the word Tamu became famous. It was not actually for my father. It was for my uncle, Marhum Muhammad Hussain Kasmali. We had a shop in Tanga, and those people who come from Tanzania are well aware that in Tanga, the streets were known by the name of Barabara, ya Kwanza, ya Pili, ya Tatu, ya Nne, and our shop was at Barabara Saba. And in that shop, there was one particularity, and that was that we used to import imported sweets coming from UK and other places. And from there, the word Tamu came about. It was actually for my uncle, and then, of course...
so this came about by importation of those sweets from the UK, yeah?
Yes, correct.
Did you test any one of them?
I don't remember.
If you
but
did,
I'm sure that I must have tested
yeah,
it.
did you pay for them?
ઘરમાં હોય પછી દેવાના ના હોય પૈસા.
Thank you. Let's come on to this game of cricket in the family. Now, it's a fact. I don't know how many of us, and that's why this interview. You know cricket in your family. Let's talk about your late father, Marhum Akbar Bhai Kasmali Tamu. He was a cricketer. He played in Tanga regularly. He played for the Isnashiri team. And he was a bowler. And what he achieved, something sensational, that became the talk of the Khoja world for a long time to come. Now, when that occurred, Mohammed Bhai, you weren't even born. And therefore, you were told as you grew up about this amazing incident that your late father achieved. Can you please tell us what that incident was in detail, please?
Okay, this incident happened in August 1956 when Commonwealth 11, if I'm not wrong, it was being led by one Pakistani player. I don't recall his name, but included in that team were great players at that time. One of them was Muhammad Hanif. And Muhammad Hanif is well known to be the first person to have scored 499 runs. Hanif Muhammad, yes. Hanif Muhammad. And Hanif Muhammad was in that team. And they were playing in Tanga. And he had opened the batting. And he had scored about 12 runs. And then there was change of bowling, and my father was asked to bowl. And when he came, and the very first ball that he sent, my father uprooted his leg stump. And I heard this. I was told that Hanif was actually looking as to from where did the ball pass. Okay. On that day, Alhamdulillah, my marhum father bowled so well that he took 6 wickets. And, you know, people had come to watch that time getting a Commonwealth 11 team, star players coming to play. So people had come from all over Tanzania. One of the person who had come was from Lushoto. He was an English businessman. Lushoto is a town away from Tanga. It is more like, you can say it's on a mountain and it's quite cold there. But he had come there to watch, to witness and to see. And at the end of the day, he came and presented my father with a check of 500 shillings at that time, 1956. Right? The economists can now make the value today as to how much it would be. But it was given at that time. The good thing was that my marhum father actually photographed that check, and we have that photograph with us. We have kept it.
Fantastic.
So that's an incident. The second, just quickly, Muntaz Bhai, is that his encouragement is, and I remember it was day of Mi'raj, and I was fasting at that time, still very young, and he had gone to play cricket. And my father had this habit that before he went to play cricket, he would take the egg yolk, the yellow thing, remove the white, take the yellow thing, and take 2 of that, and said this would give energy and go. But it was on that day of Mi'raj that he won a bet, cricket bet, and he came and gave me that as a present. And that was, let's say, beginning of my cricket.
So we
days.
can say very with positiveness and with surety that your marhum father Akbar Bhai was an inspiration to you. I mean, after having heard stories about him, you know, he was quite an inspiration. Right. Moving forward, it is January 1972. And what happens then? You are in Tanga with your, with your brothers and sister family. And then, as it may be, the family packs up. And you hama. Hama is you shift. You migrate. Where do you hama? You come to the Likoni ferry, cross the Likoni ferry, and into Mombasa. This was January 1972. You were still at school. You were studying and you were in a secondary school. If I'm not mistaken, you were in Burhania Secondary School. Am I right?
Correct.
I've got better memories than you, Mumbai. Right. So, what happens? Now we are talking cricket here. Because you are an enthusiastic cricketer, so you say, right, the first thing that happens is you go to the communal club, the Ishnashi Sports Club, or was it already Jaffrey Sports Club?
It was Jaffrey Sports
It was Jaffrey Sports Club. And you go to the nets. And you attend a few nets. And suddenly, in the middle of the year, all that, you join another cricket team by the name of Mombasa Eaglets. Now, these were all teams. There are about 10 to 12, 14 teams playing there. So, very genuinely, and Mombasa Eaglets also consisted of fellow community brothers. So can you tell us why you did that?
Okay, before I explain as to the reason why it happened, I think it is important for us to understand the existence of the sports club within our communities. I can say, and I'm not going to elaborate much, but one sentence should be enough, inshallah, for us all to reflect that it was one of the greatest and is one of the greatest blessings of our community. When I came down to Mombasa, this was, as you mentioned, in January 72, and that feeling that we want to go and play cricket, went to Jaffrey Sports Club, attended the nets, and there were many members. And of course, with the league going on, the preference, of course, was being given to those who were regular members. And then when I was in Tanga, Mombasa Eaglets had visited Tanga once. And in that visit, I was playing for the Tanga club at that time. So that relation was already built, having known some of the players there. And when I came to to Mombasa, and we came to know, and that invitation, come and play. So I joined Mombasa Eaglets. That's the reason why I joined Mombasa Eaglets. And whilst the league in year 1972 going on, I was 12th man all the time, 12th man, okay? Until the knockout season came, and it was during knockout season that I was given the opportunity to play for Mombasa Eaglets. And we went through the rounds until we reached the finals.
So you want to talk to us about that one memorable game of that knockout competition with Mombasa? Please do.
Yeah, okay. So that's 1972. It's finals between Mombasa Eaglets and Mombasa Sports Club. Those people who are from Mombasa and were there at that time are aware that Mombasa Sports Club was a very strong team at that time. And there were English people playing for them. There were other stars playing for them. And we batted first, Mombasa Eaglets, and we scored around 125 runs. I managed to get 25 runs at that time. I don't know how I was able to stay for all that time, right? Mumtaz Bhai is well aware, he has played together with me. I am, as one of the colleagues used to tell me, Andhe ka Allah hai, right? And just the ball comes, just close your eyes and just throw the bat. And that was my style. But I don't know how I stayed for that long and managed to score 25 runs. Now, at the time of fielding, when we have now to, defend that 125, and I was brought into bowling. But before that, there was rain. And the match had to stop at that time. And you know, there was matting at that time. It was not turf. Yeah, jute matting. And it had become wet. So what they did was that they put in this sawdust there. Okay? And that sawdust is something which is rough. And it was there. And I realized that if I were to pitch that ball there, it will give me a big turn. Okay? Right? And at that time I was bowling leg spinners. And that then began, and the first was Tim Plumbridge, if you remember, Mumtaz Bhai. Clean bowled him, and then came Alban Fernandez. Alban Fernandez was a Tanzanian test player. International. And he was a very good player. And the second ball that now, this is his first ball, and I bowled to him, and he plays, and it is dolly, catch and ball and cotton ball. And as soon as I did that, I was jumping like a Maasai up in the air. 3 times I did that because I just got a very vital wicket, right? Alhamdulillah, at that time I got 4 wickets and that day. And Marhum Hashmani, I don't know his first.
Marhum Barkat
His father.
Oh, Marhum MP Hashmani.
Marhum MP Hashmani, before that match, had come and given us incentive. If you win and every run that you score, you will get a shilling. 72 shilling is, right? And Alhamdulillah, that day I collected 125 shillings. Right?
Mashallah.
And our team got money, and everyone else, those who contributed towards that. But it was a match that I will never forget because we won that knockout tournament and we went on to win also 1973 knockout tournament.
Yeah. So, Mohammed Bhai, thank you. You were with Mombasa Eaglets for 2 seasons, and in both these seasons, Eaglets win the knockout tournament. Then, after 2 seasons with them, you decide to cross the floor and you join Jaffrey Sports Club. Now it's a fact, and this you can't take it from there, guys, those who do not know. if at all there was cricket in Mombasa, the communal gathering, the communal enthusiasm, each and everybody prayed cricket. The way was to Jaffrey Sports Club from the school, from home, cricket. And it was a total domination from Jaffrey, including myself. And we all grew up with Jaffrey Sports Club. So when you, to go back to you, when you then decide to join Jaffrey Sports Club, you walk into their A11 because of your ability, your enhancement, and you go on to captain Jaffrey Sports Club as well. And not only that, Jaffrey Sports Club, during that year when you moved in, if I'm right, correct me please, they now win the knockout tournament. Yeah? So this is a beautiful thing. Now, proceeding further, you are a left-hander, right? You already said that. Can anybody here, I mean, during our time in East Africa, we used to call, there was a special name for left-handers. Okay. Can anybody? Daburio. We used to call them. Mohammed, am I right? Yeah, Daburio. Daburio means he's a left-hander. You are a left-arm spinner, Mohammed. And I can assuredly tell you that when you took up spinning, yeah, the leg breaks, yeah, you know, you brought force into spinning. Before that time, spinners weren't reckoned with. That you introduced your way style of spinning, and it sort of brought fear into the batsman, that how wickets were absorbed of that. You, mashallah, and you were, like you said, a hard-hitting batsman. As a batsman, all you did was close your eyes and you hit nothing but sixes all over the grounds. Right? Now, this is where I bring you in. Because if you don't tell, I will tell them.
You say, allow me to speak, I will mention.
Yeah.
You allow me?
Yeah, I will.
Okay, right. Yeah. So, let's begin.
No. Let me finish the question. Okay. Don't take a shortcut. Now, whilst this batting in Mombasa, there is one disappointment. That, you know, in your batting, it occurs that disappointment. Tell us about that disappointment. Oh, I'm craving for you to speak.
Okay, first let me just say that when I began my cricket career, which is in Tanga, I was actually bowling medium paces. And we remember I was in Burhania Secondary School, and there was a training program for cricketers. A coach had come from India. He was a Singh. I don't remember his name just now, but he, when he watched me bowling medium pace, he stopped me and he said, stop all that, I want you to bowl spinning. Okay, and that's how I was introduced to the spinning. Okay, I remember, like Mumtaz Bhai had said, that hitting sixes was like fun. I remember my uncle Amir Somji is in Arusha, those who know him. He was a keen cricketer, tennis player, he's a keen golfer now. One of the matches, he had come from Arusha just to visit Mombasa, and he came to visit. And we were playing against YCC, Young Cricket Club. And I was playing for Jaffrey Sports Club at that time. And within no time, I scored 85 runs. And in that included about 4 to 6 sixes, right? When I was out and I went into the pavilion, my uncle called me saying, "Yauto." He looked at my bat, and it was jumbo bat. Those cricketers who have played together with me are aware. Myself and Shabir Bhai Nazar Ali, we and Iqbal Pataudi and others, we used to use this jumbo bat, a very strong bat. He said, "Upadi kem shake che tua?" Right? How can you carry this?
Heavy.
It was heavy. Chale, he hit. He told me, all my cricketing life, if I hit 1 6, I was so happy. And today you have it so much like this. But you know, once what happened was that we were playing against Eaglets Sports Club. I was in Jaffrey. And like usual, hit. And I hit on there, and I was thinking the ball is going out of the boundary. And who comes there? Mumtaz Bhai. Sitting over here just now, okay? And machar ni jam ball pakdi lido. Right? And got me out of.
Thank you, yeah. You know, I must put some light on it.
Yeah.
You know, if you look at Mohammed Bhai, his sixes were mid-on, mid-wicket, all the way, because he was a left-hander. And I was in the boundary. And he captained the Saturday team, and I captained the Saturday team of Mombasa Eaglets. And I knew him. I knew that he આવું પાડશે. So that bowler, and હું ગયો બાઉન્ડ્રીમાં, absolutely, તમે આ બાઉન્ડ્રી લાઈન છે, ત્યાં ઊભો રહી ગયો. અને મોહમ્મદ ઉપાયર બોલ, મિડમેન, હું મિડ-ઓનમાં ઊભો છું. All honestly that I did was praising myself, not only you. આ જાય છે છક્કો, એટલે all I did was stretch my left hand, and it jumped a little, and the ball ચોટી ગયો મધમાખીની માફક. And he couldn't even move out of the crease. And till this very day, he has not forgotten me. Alhamdulillah, Mohammed.
He will not make me forget it.
Yeah, Mohammed, you know, proceeding further.
Please.
Yeah. You know, you get selected for CCA, CCA, Coast Cricket Association. It was a privilege and an honor that, you know, from Jaffrey, you get selected for CCA. And CCA played so many teams visiting from Nairobi. They played teams visiting from Zambia and all that. And you started attaining trophies. Your trophy cupboard starts, you know, getting filled up, alhamdulillah. Let's now divert a little and talk about cricket in the family. Now, this is very, very important, yeah? By the way, you remember he mentioned that there were two visitors during his youth who arrived from Mombasa when they were in Tanga. And one of them is this Mahmood Bhai who has just entered. Nay, we don't want any money from you. Yeah, it's all right, alhamdulillah. So he was a brilliant cricketer then with Jaffrey Sports Club, played for Kenya, and Mohammed Bhai remembers that when Jaffrey Sports Club visited Tanga, him and Marhum Onali Kanji were guests at Mohammed Bhai. Mohammed Bhai atla tukra hata, and these were cricketers, and he remembers that. Okay, let's talk about cricket in the family. Okay, you are the eldest of the four brothers. Yourself, then there is Murtaza, then there is Marhum Siptain, number 3, and there is KSIMC who lives here in London, all that. You know, I must take the opportunity to talk about Siptain, Marhum Siptain, because he is that one who actually surpassed all of you, and he went to those wuthering heights, you know, to achieve so much in cricket. I'm sure you'll agree with that. And I remember that, guys, this is important because I used to teach in a high school, so I could organize so many things. And it is very important, I organized one inter-secondary school cricket competition among those, you know, 12, 14 secondary schools. And Marhum Siptain was in Burhania Secondary School. And these Bohoras are, you know, push karu khape wala kane, you know, you give them one up the backside, make them strong. And Siptain was the captain of Burhania. And they reached the final. And the way he molded these little Bohra guys, and he was that unique place over there as the captain. Now he was both an all-rounder, bowler and batsman. And then they reached the final against a very, very huge high school, the Alidina Visram. And most of the players of that high school were playing in the cricket teams in Mombasa. They were players of the cricket teams. And there was this final which took place, and I organizing it, so I had the privilege of umpiring it. I tell you guys, I'm talking about Marhum Siptain. When it came to batting first, you know, batting, he must have scored something like 74 to 78 runs, single-handedly, with a little support from this, and these people made 124 runs, Burhania Secondary School. Now Alidina Visram go into batting. And those were giants in ball. But the way Siptain bowled, the way he placed his fielding, it went to the wire that game, up to the last over. He bowled so well. He fielded so well. He caught the ball so well that I could see in that boy, you know, kid in Form 2, Form 3, that this boy was going somewhere. So Mohammed Bhai Please, what would you like to tell us about Marhum Siptain? His achievements, his life, and all that?
Okay, my dear brother Marhum Siptain was a cricketer with great talent. I remember that we as Jeffrey Sports Club, Mombasa, traveled to Nairobi to play against Sikh Union, and it was a knockout tournament, and we batted first, and Marhum Siptain was not even 20 years old at that time, still in his teenage, and he scored 100 runs before lunch. Okay, something which was at that time considered to be something admirable, you know, people really appreciated. And we went on to score more than 200 runs and we defeated Sikh Union. It is that one inning that I will never forget. The second inning that I will never forget is when he was playing for Swami Bapa Cricket Club. It's a final between Swami Bapa and Aga Khan Sports Club. Aga Khan had scored a good number of runs, and Swami Bapa had lost, I think, 3 or 4 wickets. By that time, Marhum Siptain was already batting, and then he started his aggressive batting, and he scored his century and made Swami Bapa win the match. This is something which I witnessed. One match that when he was playing for Jeffrey Sports Club Nairobi, and this was against Nairobi Gymkhana. And Nairobi Gymkhana had the Kenyan opening bowler, Ramesh Patel, those people who remember, okay, fast bowler. At that time, it was 11 overs per bowler, 55 overs game, 11 overs per bowler. Ramesh Patel in his first, spell of 8 overs was hit for 28 runs only. The last 3 overs when he came to bowl and Siptain was batting, and the way Siptain punished him, by the time he finished his 11th over, he had already given in 66 runs. Right? And the sixes. Even Ramesh Patel, after Siptain came to the pavilion, and they were friends because they were playing for Kenya together. And he says, right? You say, you have killed me today. Right? But the sixes that he was hitting was so, you know, one was a flat one straight hitting that boundary there, the screen, yeah. And the ball returning back to the bowler there. Wow. So these are some of the memorable innings, and there are many others. Don't want to take time. But Marhum Siptain was someone who was, he had a good cricketing brain. Yeah. Like you mentioned that as a captain, he was able to place his fields properly and everything. And during that time that I was together with him, because I have captained him, and there was time when he would come and tell me, Aya Rako, I'm Rako, you know. And he had good cricketing brain. Later on in his life, after retiring from active cricket, he became coach for Tanzania team. And he played a good part in ensuring that cricket survived in Tanzania. So he really encouraged, and many people in Tanzania still remember him well.
Thank you. Thank you. Mohammed Bhai, you know, you talk about Siptain, Nairobi. Come April 1980, you have had enough of Mombasa. You pack your bags and you come to Nairobi, the capital, for greener pastures, for betterment, and lo and behold, all the good things start happening to you. So one of the first very good thing which happened within a month of your arrival, I think you kept a record, within a month, you get married. It's very rare, you know, very popular. And so many, you play cricket in Nairobi for various clubs, achievements, you brush shoulders with so many internationals, and they were very memorable games. But guys, if you really seriously look at the topic of the interview today, it is cricket and beyond. If you look at it, that's what we have titled the interview today. Now, what does it mean, Mohammed Bhai? You know, you are playing cricket, and you know, very passionately, but little do people know that on the side, you are also building another passion, side by side. And that building of that passion it overtook your interest in playing cricket. And this is, guys, this is important. The interest of serving the community, service to the community, that's what you build up. It started from Mombasa, it came to Nairobi at a different level, and up to this very day, as we are talking, you are still serving the community. So, please tell us in your own few words, what was this passion? What got you, involved in that? Start from Mombasa, and in shortly, I mean.
The spirit to serve the community, of course, began from time in Tanga. There was time when my father, Marhum, had taken up the responsibility of ensuring that the mosque or masjid in Tanga is opened and closed. At that time, people used to take up that voluntary services. In Tanga, where I was given the early education about religion, I will not forget Marhum Haidar Ali Rashid, who passed away, of course, in Birmingham, father of Sheikh Muhammad Rashid. Marhum Haidar Ali Rashid is the one who had sown the seeds of acquiring the knowledge. And he was very disciplined and he was very well organized. And in Tanga, we had Mohammed Cultural Group, what was known as, what we call as Madrasa. Today it was called Mohammed Cultural Group. And in the evening, we would get together, there would be salat, there would be teaching, right? And I learnt there, and from there, I reached to a stage when Marhum Haidar Bhai told me that now I will give you responsibility to teach a class. This is in Tanga. And then after that, the other inspiration, of course, giving service is my Marhum mother. And her services to the community are well known. And she was an inspiration, father was inspiration, and from there we have taken it up. I arrived in Mombasa. In Mombasa then I became part of the Hussaini Madrasa. I started as a teacher, later on became the secretary of the madrasa, and we used to publish a magazine, Torch, in Mombasa, and we had great support at that time. So these were the initial. I will not forget Marhum Mullah Abdul Rasul, who always used to encourage me. But at the same time, I was also involved in tabligh amongst the indigenous people in Mombasa. And for that inspiration was Marhum Mohsin Bhai, who recently passed away. He really inspired me. And, Marhum Mohsin Bhai had a kind of way of trying to instill. He wouldn't force it upon you, but he would explain to you the advantages. And from there, I picked it up and I took part in Bilal Muslim Mission. Having arrived in Nairobi, that activity in madrasa continued. Playing of cricket continued. I was part of the, Nairobi Jaffrey. I had the opportunity also to lead Nairobi Jaffrey. We won the Kenyatta Trophy. We won the league. Muhammad Bhai Bandali, I think I don't know if he's present or not. Yeah, Muhammad Bhai was part of us, of the team. And we remember those days very well until when Marhum Ashik Bhai came, and then his vision was to see Nairobi Jaffrey entering into League Division 1, which he attained, alhamdulillah, and then it went on. But the work at the Bilal Muslim Mission increased. In 1984, I had printing press in Nairobi, which unfortunately did not go very well. So we had to close. And I started working for a stationery shop. And from there, then I joined Madrasatul Rasulul Akram, which was a school or a madrasa basically to teach the indigenous people. I was a student there. For 3 to 4 years, I studied there. I learnt my Arabic there. And then from there onwards, I started also teaching. And the work of the Bilal, together teaching the indigenous Africans, became a sort of my passion. And I was in Madrasatul Rasulul Akram from that time onwards up to the year 2001 until I came to. And Bilal Muslim Mission activities, alhamdulillah, I wouldn't just to say that I still keep in touch with my former students and trying to find out what are the activities going on in.
Yeah. Thank you, Mohammed Bhai. Thank you. We are now winding up very quickly. So you are doing how many hijrats? You start from Tanga, you come to Mombasa, then come to Nairobi, and then you pack your bags and get a Kenya Airways ticket and fly to Peterborough. Yeah? What is the next from Peterborough to where?
Inshallah, akhirah.
Akhirah, inshallah. Jazakallah. That was a proper answer. So, very briefly, Mohammed Bhai, we are winding up now. Any interest, any sports in Peterborough that you think you could have played and any time for that?
When I came in 2001, my responsibilities, duties as resident alim did not allow me a lot of time for sports. But I remember only one match that I played, and this was within our brothers. And this is something which I was really like pushing them. Apre cricket match rakhe, and then we had one cricket match where we played. And that after that, I haven't taken up the bat or ball or anything, unless if I'm playing with my grandson.
Yeah.
Then that is something else. But that is what it is. Yes. Yeah. One thing I do make sure is, and I try very hard, is to keep up walking. So Peterborough is a small town, and though, going to the city center 10 minutes, do the work, come back again. So your walk of 20, 30 minutes does take place.
Alhamdulillah. Any cricket in your son Sadiq Ali?
Oh yes, my son Sadiq Ali is still playing cricket, and he is at present captain of the Shia Sports in Peterborough.
Mashallah, mashallah. I must go back a little bit and talk about Murtaza, who's a good tennis player in Mombasa.
Yes.
And also Qayyum Mehdi, who's also a cricketer here.
Yes, sir.
In London.
Yeah.
So, we have finished now. Very, very, very briefly, from what you are right now, your observation, your comment, any advice for us over here? તમને ખબર છે નમાઝ પઢીએ છીએ અહીંયા ટાઈમસર જો આજે નમાઝે આયા તો પહેરા but anything else than that?
Okay,
Please.
Very quickly is okay, of course, Murtaza and Qayyum, both of them are in sports, and Murtaza still plays tennis. Qayyum is still playing cricket over here. And regarding my observation, I want to just say this, Mumtaz Bhai, is that what is known to be senior citizens is, and what is I have observed so far, and if I'm mistaken, I stand to be corrected, is that we come, we have a recitation of the Quran, we listen to a lecture, questions asked after that, have, talk with each other, socialize, pray namaz together, and have lunch. But the activities that I have seen over here is that you have organized this, and this is something which really delighted me, and said that you still keep the senior citizens to be junior citizens by keeping them active, right? Making exercise. I can see the tables over here ready and everything. So playing of the sports, keeping active, This is something which has really impressed me, and I would only say that the older we get, the more exercises we do, it is better for us. And may Allah Azza wa Jal keep us all healthy, inshallah.
Shukran, shukran, Mohammed Bhai. One question from the floor. Abbas Bhai, not you, yeah? One question from the floor. No, thank you, Mohammed Bhai. We are very, very grateful to you for attending over here. We have now close to, you know, brothers, there was different programs over here. That's not what happened the last time. Thank you for your patience. Now, we will have a little time to go for our activities. But before you do that, there is one request. You know, the last time when we started our Niyaz Fund, we are having lunch today, very delicious lunch. When we opened, that was the 24th of August, 2 months ago. And few of you gave £5, most of you gave 10 pounds. Now, there are very strong suggestions as to how we can't rely on this. We are enjoying ourselves over here, and we need funds all the time, you know, besides your £5 per year. So when 2 months are over now, so we are opening our Niyaz Fund again today, and rather than 5 and 10, let us control the next 2 months with a contribution, everybody, of £10 each. We've got Hussein Hasnali seated there. Hussein, can you raise your hand there? He's got a list, and he's got, if you could please, if possible, you know, contribute your money today. Help us, cooperate with us, rather than we chasing you, because that eases our work, you know. And then there is the second one is Hassan. Could you raise your hand? He's ready there as well. So please, very quickly, if you can donate this, if you can, you make your contribution of £10 each, so then we can then think about, because we have got to pay for the meal today. We have got expenses, Zakarik. And you people have been very cooperative, yeah? So with that, I will wind up. I say thank you for your attention, and sorry for taking a little longer due to circumstances. We said asante, big asante to Mikdad Somji here, and there's Shahid Ali Khaki there for making this possible, for providing us the audio and the video. You could see that this is very rare. Inshallah, we will continue to do that. And next week, the clocks go back. So please refer to my program, and we'll have to bring our activities a bit forward. Now with that, let us give a very, very loud salawat to Mullah Mohammed Qasim. Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad.
Jazakallahu khair. This is the end of our program. Jazakallah.
Mumtaz, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Jazakumullah khair.